Welcome to From Pitch to Pontoon.
So just before we get into today's episode, can Callum and I, and Andrew, he's not here today, but we would all like to ask you a favour if possible. If you could like, share and subscribe the podcast in whatever platforms that you use, because it really does help us get the message out there and it helps us connect with new people too. So just that wee tiny action really helps.
Absolutely. And today we did have you're going to hear it in a short while. We've got a very special guest that joined us today, didn't we, Lisa?
We did. We had Patrick and Brianna from Marina World. For those of you that don't know, Marina World is a publication, and you should, if that interests you, you should really go and have a look at it. For once, Callum, you and I don't have much to say. Really, we've kind of let the guests do the full talking.
No, so if you're interested in marina advertising, marina marketing,
Yep.
I think this episode is absolutely for you. So let's get into it. We are joined today by the team behind Marina World, the world's biggest online and print B2B and B2C publication dedicated to the global marina industry with over 8,000 readers and subscribers. Marina World has been around for over 25 years, having been formerly run by Carol Fulford and Julia Hallam, but in April 2025 was acquired by the fastest growing publication in the super yacht industry, Superyacht Times. I'd like to introduce the editor, Patrick Norén, and the sales manager, Brianna Johan. Welcome to you both. Welcome to From Pitch to Pontoon. How are you both doing?
Thank you very much. I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you?
We are marvellous. It's an absolute pleasure to have the two of you on. We met a few months ago in the lovely city of Venice on the dance floor.
I think that's where it was solidified, wasn't it? On that dance floor, that first song, and that was a proper mic drop moment.
Absolutely killed it.
I don't think we left that dance floor for about 3 to 4 hours.
That's what we're going to try and do. We're just going to follow you around the world now and meet you on every dance floor that we can.
Oh, done deal. We can do a little segment about the elite Marina Worlds gallivanting around the world. Where are they next?
Find us on a dance floor near you.
There's a dance floor segment coming to the magazine.
Perfect. We're fully on board to sponsor that.
Yeah. Best marinas, where to party. Who has the best dance floor?
Maybe that is a segment that these events need to take into consideration, actually.
We'll Look at us go. Yeah.
Disco on the dock.
For it. Perfect. So obviously you guys are from Marina World, owned now by Superyacht Times. Before we get deep in, do you want to tell us a little bit how you both ended up actually where you are now with Marina World?
I'll jump straight in because, I'm originally from Australia, moved to the Netherlands where Superyacht Times is based. However, how I actually got into the job was I found it was a meant to be moment. I was doing the Europe travels across, I think, Sicily and Greece at the time. I was sitting at a marina where there was a super yacht docked, and I was sitting there looking at it with a friend, sipping on an Aperol, going, what a life, this boating world. And the next day I received a message via LinkedIn, and bada bing, bada boom, within 3 days, here I am, and had a job. So I met with the founders and all of that, and I was hooked. Yeah. So it kind of all just happened within a couple of days, but I think it was a real meant to be.
I think when we met you, Brianna, it was very new, wasn't it? You'd kind of just started. Have you been welcomed into the marina community with open arms? Because it's a very friendly, everybody knows kind of everybody. Do you feel very much now you're part of that? Part of that
1000%.
life?
I can't see myself anywhere else now, to be honest. I'm such a people person and I'm driven on community, and I think it's the first moment I was able to meet the industry, and like you guys as well, and like we're here, you just meet people and you connect, and everyone's been so welcoming and very, very excited to see the new energy of both Patrick and I, which is something that a lot of people have said, and we're very enthusiastic and we're very energized and very ready to keep evolving what has been the great foundation of what Julia and Carol have built.
So my academic background is in languages. So I studied German and Russian in the UK, and then I moved to the Netherlands, where of course Superyacht Times and Marina World is now based. to do a master's. That was in Russian and Eurasian studies at Leiden University. And my first job after finishing my master's was as a deputy editor at a very small NGO in The Hague. But that was all about politics and international relations, mostly in the South Caucasus. So Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan. And I was there for about a year. That was just a part-time job, though. And then my first full-time job after leaving university was as a magazine editor and conference program manager, also in defense and security, a very niche part of defense and security. That was my first full-time magazine editorial position, but still having previously had editorial experience. And so I was there for 2 years, and then I saw the Marina World magazine opportunity pop up, and I thought, well, fantastic. Let's take that editorial background that I already have and apply it to something completely new and completely different. And it's now been 7 months since I've joined, and absolutely loving it. It's fantastic. Brianna and I, we make a fantastic team, along with Elaine, our news writer, who is absolutely tireless. She's fantastic. And then there's also Philippe, our United States sales rep. There's Bayer designing the magazine. And it's been a fantastic journey so far. Absolutely loving it. Been to some brilliant places, met some fantastic people, and the feedback we've received, at least in the beginning, the first few months, has been very positive. A lot of people like the rebrand, the refresh of the magazine, and they like the direction that it's going in. So it's been fantastic, and we're looking forward to seeing the magazine grow. And I think the trajectory is looking quite promising.
And I'd say that's quite the same for you guys, isn't it? From your foundations in the holiday park sector and now evolving into the marina. I think we're both on this path where we can just see the trajectory, we can see the growth, and we can see the prosperity, and it's exciting. So I think we're all in that same boat where there's some big things ahead, and we're keen to be a part of it.
And I think that's definitely why I asked you that question about the community, because it is a very welcoming community. So the same people you will meet at one conference, you'll see at the next, and they all know each other and they all like what they like. But it's so refreshing to hear that they like where you're taking, your journey. And the feedback that we've had has been positive, that there's been nothing that kind of groups everything together, that it's all kind of managed in one area. And it is more of a kind of fresh look at things, but it's really refreshing to see that everybody is welcome and open to that change.
So let's just talk about the magazine for a minute, obviously where you guys are. So for anyone, obviously this podcast is listened to by holiday parks and marinas. It's 13 countries actually at the last count, but
you got that in there.
I had to.
Well done. Very
shameless.
I'll plug all day. For someone that's maybe not familiar with Marina World, you want to give us a little what to expect if they picked up
a magazine,
if they picked up the magazine, if they picked up the publication like I have here on my desk.
Oh, well done. Fantastic.
What would they expect from this?
Brownie points. Absolute brownie points.
Oh, I should have a quick rummage around. Actually, do you know what? I can rip open.
Is this the new one?
This is the new one.
One.
This is hot off the press. This is the new one.
Tell me who's on page 3. I'm interested.
Just show page. Page maybe 3 and 4. Actually,
maybe
fold that one out.
Up on top.
You just open that up, Patrick.
Just out of interest, because I'm not quite sure who's on there.
Front and center.
Who's that? Oh, it's a link dynamic. So apart from finding our fantastic editorials in there as well, what else would you expect from Marina World?
There's a wide variety of things in there. So every single magazine covers a number of different bases. So in terms of topics and sections of the magazine, there is news ordered geographically. So Europe, the Americas, the Middle East, Asia Pacific, sometimes Africa as well. That's the first section of the magazine. Then there will be a section on sales and acquisitions. There is, of course, a lot of movement around the whole world, but especially in Europe and the USA on marinas constantly changing hands. A lot of marinas now are around 20, 30 years old. So they're kind of reaching the end of their life cycle. And a lot of them do need a revamp and a refresh. And that is a very good entry point for institutional investors and larger conglomerates to buy marinas, invest their own capital in there, and bring them into the 21st century. So that's what we're seeing a lot of in the industry, hence why that section is in the magazine. At the back of the magazine, we have a section called Products and Services that is dedicated to a lot of the products and services, clues in the name, that do emerge in the marina industry. Every now and again, it will be a physical product, such as new pedestals or docking. A lot of sustainability solutions are also coming to market, which is nice to see. But then also marina management software as well. So that all goes in products and services. Those are the three smaller sections. But in the wider magazine itself, it's plenty of fantastic editorial written by, of course, the Marina World team, but also industry experts. Marina World has always and will always be an industry-driven publication where I will invite industry experts to write on any manner of topics. So marina developments, market focus, sustainability, latest technologies. Those are the few that immediately come to mind, and they all go in the magazine as well. I see the magazine. It was the same in my previous job, and the same now with Marina World. I look at a magazine a lot like a music album.
Okay.
Which is, it's in the sense that it needs to be curated.
Him and his analogies. Every conversation, you'll notice he brings one in. Every single conversation.
If you, in the sense that if you put all of the fast songs at the front of the album and all the slow songs at the back, that's not a good album.
Okay.
If you have an album full of, it's just the same absolute hit over and over again, that's not a good album. Sure, the hit itself in isolation is a great song, but if you have an album just the same hit over and over again, that's a bad album. So I look at the creating a magazine in much the same way. You need to have a broad variety of different articles, different perspectives, different authors, different geographies, different topics, all in there, and they need to be ordered in such a way that there is kind of a logical thread through the whole magazine, and it does keep it interesting, and there is a variety. So that's more or less broadly what you would find in Marina World magazine. But
Perfect.
for people to really understand what does go into Marina World, I would urge them to pick up a copy of the latest issue and read for themselves.
So to wrap that up,
yeah,
we are pretty much the one-stop shop of everything in marinas.
perfect.
Variety.
That's a
is
short
what we
answer.
Are. Yeah.
I do like
Patrick
the
has all
analogy about
details.
putting the album
It is
together.
good, actually.
It's like putting a playlist together, isn't it? Effectively.
Exactly.
So how then are you choosing which stories and features are actually being selected then for the magazine? How are you getting that playlist right? How are you making sure that everyone's enjoying that party?
Well, like any good playlist curator, I do take recommendations. I do take requests. So, but jokes aside, again, it is a combination of different things. So, topic-wise, of course, there needs to be a mixture of geography, of author, of subject. So, whether it's latest technologies, or if it's a market focus, if it's focused on one marina in particular. If it's interviews, or if it's editorial, if it's written in-house, or if it's written by an industry expert, it's a lot of different things, and that variety is very important. So any decisions that we would make about what should go in the magazine, it always is based off what we have already said is going in the magazine. It depends on what was previously done, so we're not needlessly repeating the same or similar content, because also, again, music albums, if you have the same album back to back, that's a bad selection of albums. Mm-hmm. But then in terms of how we arrive at the article, again, it's a combination. I will sometimes speak to someone, and that sparks an interest, and I'll write something myself. Someone will come to me and say, hey, we're doing this really interesting project. This is what's unique about it. And I'll be like, okay, well, this genuinely is unique. Let's have a conversation so I can learn more, and let's write an article in the magazine. A good example is a conversation I'd had just a couple of hours ago with a man in Thailand. The marina has a very, very interesting history behind it. It was once a shrimp farm, and then it was a coconut plantation. There's a link to the Royal Thai Navy, and then now it's a fascinating new marina in Thailand. So that, again, has a very interesting backstory. Sometimes people will get in touch with their product, and I decide, this genuinely is interesting. Let's do an interview. and then it can be, an interview with whichever person. So it really is a variety of different ways that we do actually get the magazine or get the articles all together in one magazine. But like I say, the variety and the music album analogy is really the most important thing.
And I'd say as well, we get a lot of reach outs and we get a lot of interest for people to be involved and to collaborate with the magazine. But then also a big part of our job is when we are out and about and going to these trade shows and conferences is meeting people to shake the hands with those who are developing these startups or are new to the industry. And we are also out there seeking the latest stories and the newest people in the game. That's another big thing for us. So we both go out and I suppose seek the stories, but we also receive a lot of opportunities too. But then shameless next plug.
Go on.
Yeah, then involvement in the magazine can also be done through a paid section. So any advertising inquiries, reach out. That's plug number 3.
That's plug number 3. We're counting now.
Yeah.
So what goes into actually producing like the full issue? How long does that process sort of take?
36 double espressos approximately per person. But from start to finish, I would say it's actually the lead time is very long. It's about between 4 and 5 months from the very first time that I will start thinking about the next issue. So, for example, I've just started working on issue 153. Which goes to print in April, and this is now the end of January. But I've already got half an eye on things that could go in issue 154. It's taking from overall when I start thinking about it for the very first time to actual print, it's about 4 to 5 months. But the really hardcore focusing just on that issue is between 2 and 3 months. The day after one magazine gets sent to print, I will then fully dedicate my focus more or less to the next issue.
When you go out and about visiting and you're at different conferences, is there ever a time that something really turns your head and it makes you reconsider everything about the one that you're working on or the one that you're just about to get started on? Do you ever have those moments, and do you ever see if we can get some dirt here, but do you ever disagree on what's to go in? Is there ever that kind of, you feel so strongly about maybe a conversation that you've had or a product that you've seen that you really will go to war essentially to make sure that you get that in?
This will tell you a lot about mine and Lisa's relationship. Just
So my friend has this awkward medical issue. I wouldn't say so. I think Brianna and I we communicate very well together. And
I'd say we'd always in quite agreement on, because what we want to do is we also want to honor people that we have shown that we will express interest, ensuring that we're going to share their words. So if we express that interest to them and say, yeah, we're definitely keen to explore including that in the publication, we want to honor that as credible sources and as a publication that people turn to. However, there is definitely, I suppose, opportunity for companies to turn our heads and to make us reconsider, because nothing is set in stone until it is printed. That is ultimately the game, but then there's still an honorability side of it, that if we've told people we want to share it, then we will honor that. Then there's not to say that with our publication, though, we're not strict on exact amount of pages that we should have. So if there was an extremely amazing product or new story that we really thought needed to go into this next publication, there is sometimes possibilities for the publication pages to be increased. However, from my point of view, with Patrick and I working really close together, we need to balance, I suppose, content to advertising. So if I sell enough, then Patrick can add it in, is basically what it is. So that's should we call that plug number 4? But yeah, it's a little bit of a balance game. There's opportunity, but generally 4 months in advance, we know pretty well what we're going to include, because we also want to ensure that we have a theme and we're sticking true to our word.
Yeah. I
Exactly.
think that's the word that rings to me, balance there. Like that's everything you've said, it is balance. You're taking everything and your agreement. You can tell that you guys work really well together, and it shows, I think, with what is in there. The balance is the thing all the way through, for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, Patrick.
The interesting thing about balance, you say, is as an editor, view my job as a lot of diplomacy, basically. And it's actually the part of my job that I enjoy the most. It's not necessarily the hardcore reading and the writing and the editing. Of course, as an editor, that is a very important part of your job, but it's the diplomacy behind the magazine that I enjoy the most. It's the outreach and interaction with the stakeholders. It's understanding what information they want to put out there, how we can help them, but also managing expectations, because as Brianna said, we can't have a magazine that is, PhD size long every single time. That's not a magazine. So there are limits, physical limits, as to what we can put in. And if there simply is no space, then it's a question of, okay, well, how do we manage this relationship without disappointing them? Very often it will be a case of, okay, well, it's too late to include in this issue, but if you send us XYZ, we can put you in the next issue.
Sounds very much like what we have to do, Callum, to be honest, doesn't it? It's that, you want really good idea, but we just don't have maybe necessarily the space or the scope to add that in right now. But it's a balance, and it's balancing keeping everybody happy and still making
it's
sure
like a
you
bit of
produce
stakeholder.
something. Yeah, exactly.
Stakeholder management.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because then, as I'm sure you guys as well, we're talking, the four of us here, but there is a whole team in the office that is also adding to whatever else that we're producing. So you've also got to manage and be cognizant of other people's time, other people's workloads, what else has to be done, and things like that. We're not all in this as a lone soldier. We've all got teams backing us. So yeah.
So out of what you've done so far, is there any sort of memorable projects or anything that stuck out in this last couple of months that you've went, that is the most exciting thing that we've worked on so far? Something you're really proud of?
Brianna, do you want to tell that story?
Oh, there's a
We've
story.
got a couple. We've got a you want to give me a hint of which one we're talking about? There's a few actually that come to mind.
The one in Albania.
Oh, well, that's quite a hint. Definitely. I think a key highlight for Patrick and I was having the opportunity and honor to sit down with Belinda Baluku, the Deputy Prime Minister of Albania, and to sit down with her and to get her insight and her vision on, I suppose, the Balkans and Albanian tourism, what they're doing to help bolster that.
Plug number 5.
There we go.
Yeah.
There's us there. There's Deputy Prime Minister of Albania and the Minister of Infrastructure. That's what she's those two hats.
So that was an amazing opportunity, and the hospitality was amazing. They also toured us around one of their marinas, Vlora Marina, which is in development. So that was a fantastic opportunity to see these things in person and on the ground, because we obviously, as Patrick would say, we're the megaphones, but doesn't mean that we actually get to see, touch and feel, I suppose, everything that we're talking about all the time. So it was an amazing opportunity for us.
Other opportunities we've had was going to Icomia. We went on a fantastic, the whole event itself, where we all met. That's true.
We're not allowed to talk about Venice in the office anymore. We went to Venice.
Yeah. You've been banned.
Yeah. Oh, it was brilliant.
So we can bring
Such
it up.
a good time.
Just wait till Shanghai 2027.
Yeah. Yeah, Venice was fantastic. Met a lot of fantastic people there. Went on the tour of the marinas, which was also a great experience. More recently, Anna went to Florida and saw a new dry stack facility by F3. I came back yesterday. I've spent the last 7 weeks in South Africa, and while I was there, I also met Andre Blaine, who's the executive manager of Marine and Industrial Portfolio at the V&A Waterfront in Cape Town. So a fantastic billboard of Table Mountain in the background, and then you have the V&A Marina right there in front of you. It's just brilliant. So that was a fantastic experience. And then on the same day, I also met the general manager of the Royal Cape Yacht Club, the Tony Main Prize. So even in quite a short space of time, and we're still quite early on in the Marina World journey, we've had a number of experiences which really do stand out and have met some pretty important high-ranking decision makers. And in my opinion, the only way is up. This is definitely something we welcome and we would like more of course, because that also elevates the reputation of the magazine and it brings increased exposure for the actual advertisers and the people in the magazine to the key stakeholders and decision makers. That's why we want to do this, because the analogy number 2, we're the megaphone. So
yeah, and then but further to that, I feel like we've just mentioned very briefly a lot of locations, a lot of people and locations, but I do want to give a shout out to a lot of up and comers, new businesses and innovative businesses and people that we have met across
like
some of the
Elite
shows,
Dynamics, obviously.
like Elite Dynamics, new
Obviously.
people that enter the market. So when we say like new people and memorable people, we'll just circle back to Dance Floor at Venice. Key highlight. But yeah, new businesses into the market and kind of understanding the backbones to them. And then a key point, which we briefly touched on, is a lot of these small businesses that are coming in to support kind of the more sustainability topic of marinas. And there's so many innovative and smart ideas that are being brought out, and it's really fascinating to hear about them. So that is also some pretty cool projects that I think we've had the pleasure of learning about.
So with all these businesses that are starting to come into the industry, that are new to the industry, or for those that you've been working with for a while, we're going to look at where vendors to your magazine and to the marina industry as a whole get it right and get it wrong when they're communicating. So looking at a little bit like marketing and how we can sort of differentiate. And I think if we start with common marketing or messaging mistakes that you see quite a lot. How can I've just brought you in for free consultation? How can I be better the next time I send you something over? Help me.
Well, I'm going to be. I would never want to say there's a mistake. I'd say there's always areas for growth. So, from my experience personally as well, kind of, I have a bit of media agency and outdoor advertising background. I've had a bit of exposure in my time to case studies about advertising, editorial content, and how businesses can really connect and reach their audiences. So I feel like what is something that is very easily missed by a lot of businesses is they forget the top of funnel of marketing. So I would say that they forget that the importance of just that brand awareness before they get down to lower funnel. I think everyone's so puts a spotlight now on needing to drive conversion, needing to drive sales immediately, but they forget the importance of general top of line brand awareness, getting your name out there, building that brand affiliations of trust and credibility, and that you are big players in the market. So I would say that that is something that I feel like a lot of businesses can try to do, is just generally about the brand awareness perspective. But then also kind of honing in a bit more specific in that is that there's, in my outdoor advertising experience, we had a lot of case studies actually internally within the business about eye tracking movements and how that works with a lot of advertising and how quickly that can be digested into subconscious and blah, blah, blah. Very fascinating stuff. However, the top line that came out of it is, for a lot of businesses in a marketing perspective, advertising is probably only taken in within 3 seconds. That's the amount of time you have to connect and resonate with that audience that is in front of your ad or message or brand. So you need to think about, okay, in that 3 seconds, how do I make sure that they capture the information that I want them to capture? So that's probably then just, another note is taking like all these studies and facts and considerations and what can they digest in that time. Yeah, I'd say that's probably the 3 things. So just top line brand awareness, and then take into consideration that you have a really short time to capture and engage your audiences. So utilize that to your best advantage.
I'm quite glad that as a sales manager, you've said, listen, top of funnel marketing, don't look for ROI straight away. Because building that trust does take a lot of time, and not everything is going to give direct ROI. People are obviously looking for immediate return on investment, but there is a lot of non-measurable ROI or not immediate ROI. So I thank you As a
You're
marketer,
welcome.
I am thanking the salesperson for being on our side. Can't measure everything.
No, you can't. But I understand the importance of it, though. So especially for the industry that we work in, there's a lot of small to medium businesses. And when you're spending money on advertising, you want to see a return. You want to understand the value you're getting out of it. And it can be really hard to show the value when you don't have a number, because people only associate it to numbers and return on investment. But yeah, I think there's a lot of studies, and there's a lot to be shown for subconscious absorption of messaging and brand awareness. So yeah, sorry, Lisa, I interrupted you.
No, I was literally just about to say what you kind of said. It's like that is, especially within that particular industry, the marina industry and the park industry, the kind of trust you have to build, that you have to almost have that kind of gentleman's reputation, so to speak, where everybody's kind of, you've got a good reputation, so to speak, before you can kind of get anything.
Is there any kind of material you think doesn't land with your readers? Anything that we should avoid? Next issue, what am I not doing? Come on.
I mean, at least as an editor, reading a lot of marketing material for marinas in particular, one thing that I struggle with is what I call kind of insert name here marketing. And what I've noticed is that a lot of marinas will use more or less exactly the same language, the same stylistic tropes, the same sort of ideas to explain how their marina is, of course, fantastic, but importantly unique. But yet everyone is saying in exactly the same way, using exactly the same words, how their marina is unique. Hence why, insert name here marketing. You can put the marina's name in there and it's valid for more or less any luxury marina, let's say. So that's something I struggle with. And I ask myself, or I always ask them, what really does make it unique? Because that's what we're most interested in, is what makes it a standout, fantastic marina? What makes it super unique? What's new about it? Of course, lots of marinas in constant development the whole time. So what's the new information here? And that is something that I sometimes do miss. And what for me as an editor is most important is what's new and what's unique. What's the story here, essentially?
Do you feed that back when if a piece of work comes in and you look at it and you go, oh, this is the same as what I've seen last week from somebody else, that you go back to them and go, no disrespect, but we can make this a bit better. Can you just explain this to me? This will really help you do better.
Oh yeah, Patrick does that.
I mean, like I said earlier, my job is diplomacy.
Yes.
Number one. So just firing back an email that says, I read this kind of stuff the whole time, I'm not interested. That is not a helpful thing to say.
Oh, that's rude, Patrick.
Do you hear that, Cal?
That's
Do you
just
hear
downright
that?
rude.
You're nasty.
And of course, it is very likely that there is something new and exciting going on at whatever marina, but they haven't quite understood the way to communicate that. And they think, they're not interested in the small details, they're interested in the bigger picture. Often it's the other way around. We're interested in the small details, and then we can work outwards into the bigger picture. So yes, on occasion, I will get back and say, thanks, this is really great, very interesting, looks brilliant, but what is the story here? Because that's the most important thing, is what is the story, what is new, what is making the news? And then it's just trying to reframe that focus. And how can we reframe the focus? How can we take this relationship with this person, with this marina who have contacted us forward? Because we exist because the industry exists. We exist to serve the industry. So it is therefore incumbent upon me as an editor and Brianna as a sales manager to build that relationship and take that information that those stakeholders want to share with the industry. They've shared it with us, so it's incumbent upon us to try and make it happen to the best of our ability, but also to ensure the quality of content as well.
It's really important, though, isn't it, to find that unique identifier. Even if you can see it, it's important for what you do. It's almost like your responsibility you're that platform to drive them and guide them, to show them what they do have, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, to find that unique identifier and to point it out. It's almost why they're coming to you, I guess, as well, right? It's because you are that platform to get that message out there in the right way.
I think in the end as well, though, Patrick, to give him a little bit of praise, has received a lot of pat on the backs for his ability to really hone down to the details, to be very objective and fair in his dealings. So I would say Patrick's done a very good job. And in the end, even if he does come back and ask people to reevaluate certain parts,
That was very diplomatic.
I've learned from the best. Even if he has asked people to reevaluate, I think in the end they understand and they actually respect that.
I've been at the receiving end of Patrick, so I fully understand. And it was done very diplomatically. I know on reflection, you might, yes, okay, that absolutely makes sense. So let's make that a little bit better before it goes anywhere.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it.
I can relax now.
So looking towards the future, what sort of trends are you seeing in like supplier communication, and how is the marina industry, I guess, moving forward to differentiate themselves? How are they standing out? I think, and I've seen this on LinkedIn a while ago. I can't remember who it was that said it. So I can't even say anything to them. But basically, the angle was that I think it was more on the brokerage side. So obviously selling yachts. All of the market material can look the same. You've got they're spinning around the super yacht. You've got the jet skis out running around it as well. So how are these people standing out, and what trends do you see moving forward to better themselves, I guess?
Trends that we are seeing within the industry is the word green and sustainability thrown in a lot. And it is an important topic. And I think as every generation comes in to every industry, it's becoming more and more important because we're starting to see the effects of, how we need to start to look after this earth. And it's particularly important, I think, in the industry that we work in because we do have direct dealings. But the trends that we are seeing are the use of sustainability and green being used quite a lot. However, we are always urging people and businesses to say, but how? The details of how. And so I think from that perspective, that is a trend. But what we want to do, and as part of being the megaphones of the industry, is, and like Patrick has kind of noted to, is get into the finer details of how are you unpacking this? How are you doing this? Give us the fine details. Who are you supporting? And then that's when we can really kind of, help to be the megaphones.
Exactly. It is. If there is one trend that I do see a lot of people talking about, it is this idea of being green, being sustainable, and so on and so on. But as you would,
here comes plug number 6.
as you would know if you read my introduction, my editor's letter in the latest issue of Marina World, issue 152. There it is. I called it sustainability seriously. And in that opening letter, I tell a short anecdote of a couple of years ago when I smuggled myself into one of my partner's lectures at a university in Seoul in South Korea. And the lecturer was asking this room of students, what's an algorithm? Very, very simple question. What is an algorithm? Because everyone in Instagram and TikTok, everyone knows what an algorithm is, right? And they said, oh, yeah, it keeps track of your likes and dislikes to keep you engaged. It gives you more of the same content, all of this kind of stuff. That's not what an algorithm is. That's what an algorithm does. Then that's a very big difference. And in my letter, I write that I fear that the same thing happens in the marina industry. A lot of people can give examples of what sustainability does, what it looks like, but they cannot concretely define what sustainability actually is. And the consequence of this is ambiguity. And if a topic as important as sustainability if that is ambiguous, you miss the point of what really matters. And what you want to say or do is actually not as effective as it should be. So that is one thing that I have picked up on. It's this trend of sustainability, but sometimes a lot of the language around it is couched in quite a lot of vagaries, which as an editor I want to try and change, which I hope is very clear with that front cover. That wasn't even trying to be a plug. That was just, saying, look, this is what I'm saying, and this is what I'm doing as an editor. And I'd recently seen a story that I think it was the EU is trying to change this, especially when it comes to aviation. A lot of airlines and the companies that make the aeroplanes say, and this plane is green, our airline is sustainable, and so on and so on. The EU has now actually passed very concrete laws to say, no, stop this, you cannot do this anymore unless you actually prove with hard facts that your plane, your airline does X, Y, Z. And that law has been passed in the aviation industry. So I wonder how long it will take before such laws are then passed more broadly over other industries. So sustainability is one thing. Other trends that we see is the trend to more lifestyle discussions, marina design, marinas becoming not just parking lots for boats, as they say, but about how other parts of marinas, social areas, communal areas, shopping, so on, also becomes part of the whole marina experience. So that's another trend that we also see a lot of.
So if we're looking forward to the future of marine media, obviously you guys are pushing Marina World forward. What are your sort of plans to make sure that, there's always like, oh, print's dead, SEO's dead, this is dead. How are you going to make sure that a printed publication is still going to be at the forefront in a digital age?
I think that's a really good point. Because yes, I think if you talk to a lot of people about media, they'll say, "Oh, print," and they'll give you that sort of look. But I think the importance of print is that something I thought about the other day is everything comes back around. Think about fashion, think about food, think about any trend, anything in the world, it comes back around. Print has always held a place in media as trust and credibility. And so that's where we keep to our core of being a trusted and credible source with print. However, we also acknowledge the importance of an omni-channel presence. So, and I love using the word omni-channel, and I get that from my agency days, because we also have to evolve with the times, but again, stay true to the heart of us, which is our print. So for us, I would say, for us to navigate that, we're going to evolve, but stay true to who we are. And I think this is part of it, is starting to go into a bit more of a virtual space, a little bit more into the social space. But I genuinely do not believe that print will ever die, because even nowadays I am hearing some old friends that say they just love holding a book. They love holding something
agree.
physical, because the world is becoming so digitalized. And you're starting to love the art of the simple things. And so for us, I think that's where magazines, people still appreciate it. They love to have it in the marinas, so that when they're sitting down at their lunch or having their coffee or at home next to their desk, they will open it up. But then we also recognize the need for digital for people who are on the go all the time, and need to have that accessibility, or the different touch points in which people need as well. So a big thing for me is I'm a big visual person. So I love now incorporating like our new Marina Minutes segment on LinkedIn to kind of bring faces and names to the businesses, so people can see the humans and the people and the energy and the enthusiasm behind the industry, as well as not just the words. So that's my thoughts on it. Sorry, I was very passionate. I really got into that.
No, I love it. It was so passionate. That's what it's all about, though. That's why you're good at what you both do.
It's also a case of time horizon as well. Print magazine, it hangs around. Once it's printed, it's there. A copy of Marina World that might be 2 or 3 years old will still be on that coffee table in 2-3 years' time, and people can pick it up, flick through it. So print is definitely catering towards a more long-term time horizon, whereas the digital stuff, it's a lot more. The time horizon is a lot shorter. It's a lot more volatile, so to speak, because it is a shorter time period that you're working in. But that's why digital is so good for quick fire news stories, which we have now done a lot more of, thanks to, in large part, to Elaine, our news writer. And then the more longer form, more durable content, let's put it that way, is in print as well.
And what sort of influence does Superyacht Times having now obviously been acquired? How's that impacting what you guys are doing? Or is it making it better for you?
Well, first of all, us. New faces, new energy. So yeah, the influence of Superyacht Times is going to have such a great trajectory for the business. It's something that I think we're super excited about. So with the acquisition, it's pretty much given us now also the support and the backbone to take this credible and trusted and well-known name of Marina World and really bolster it and push it out further into the global space and into the industry. And so that is where we want to utilize the support and the backing of the connections, the network, and the people to grow the voices and to really give this publication a push.
The reputational and institutional value of Superyacht Times is priceless. It really is. It's the fastest growing media publication in the superyacht industry, with an enormous wealth of knowledge, of connections. And although Marinas is quite a different beast to superyachts, there is of course a crossover. It's not exactly the same people working in each industry, but they do overlap. So that is why that Marina World being acquired by Superyacht Times, it was something new and quite refreshing, because it is similar, but it is a little bit different, and it's a new trajectory the business can go in. So although Marina World still very much retains its distinct brand and its distinct identity, it is the institutional and reputational value of Superyacht Times that really is priceless.
And to play, I just had a little light bulb moment. To play on Patrick's analogy, I feel like we've gone from having a microphone to a megaphone now. So we've gone from being able to...
That was good.
All playing the same music as well.
Singing from the same hymn sheet.
Yeah. But with the right curated playlist. Wow. Stop it.
I love it.
So yeah, I think it's about the evolution, but I again wanted to point out is although we talk a lot about inviting larger voices and evolving the publication, we still also want to stay true to the heart of it, which has been also a lot of these suppliers and services, the suppliers in the game. So your small to medium businesses, we still want to shine a light on new players in the game. And also, just the small businesses that have been around for a long time and keeping this industry evolving and growing.
I love it. So to round up then, I'm going to encourage plug number 8. So
Speaking my language.
So if anyone does want to either read Marina World, find out more about Marina World, or in fact try and advertise and get into Marina World, how do they go about it? Where can we find you all?
Well, slide into my LinkedIn DMs. No, yes, please reach out to us. Go to our website. We update that daily with our news. Same with our LinkedIn. Easy ways to contact us. You can contact us via our personal LinkedIn pages. They're open to collaboration. And if you want to be added and receive the Marina World publication, again, just please email us. We'll be more than happy to add you to the distribution list because we want to get the voices heard.
Both of you, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you as always.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you very much for having us. Bye.
Well, there we go. How many plugs did we get into that?
I think that we finished with a total of 8 at the end there. Absolutely.
But it's
fantastic
okay because they're great guys. A great conversation there, actually. Like I think the passion for what they do oozes through in everything. So I think it just speaks for itself. We don't need to.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to see where they take the future of Marina World.
Absolutely.
They're definitely a force to be reckoned with, the two of them. I thoroughly enjoyed catching up with them.
Yeah, I did too.
Well, I guess from me and you then, that's it for today.
That's it. Thanks very much.
See you next time
See you
on
later.
From Pitch to Pontoon. Bye-bye.
Bye.